So here's the 580B Outrigger cylinder on the bench, and I've actually already had it apart, but I just wanted to kind of show for the video because I forgot to show it on the video. I guess there's two of these cylinders, different kinds. You got to know which one. This happens to be right here. This is 2-inch diameter. This size is 3.5 inches, which would be the bore size. And it's a split piston. In other words, this side right here is separate in the middle from this side. So what I'm going to do is just take this thing apart, and I'll show you that here and how it comes apart. It's like an 1.5 inch and a quarter socket to take that nut off, and I'll show a picture of that in just a moment here. Okay, we're going to take this nut off right here and tap this pin off, this piece off. Just for reference, this inset portion here that goes over the shaft is deep. It's about 1/2 inch compared to about 1/4 inch on this side. So just remember the long side goes on there. Now these pieces, sometimes they come apart, but not usually. So what I've done is you can take a small punch, and this thing, you can just tap the inside. There's a groove in there, and it'll knock those loose a little bit. Very gently. I don't want to upset it too much, or I'd have to file a little bit out, I guess. There it is. So without losing what this looks like, in other words, there's the inner, and you can see on here it looks like a lot of thread locker goes in here too, so that's fine, I guess, when it's put back together. And it's easy to put the seals on this way. Now this piece here, let's see, this piece here, also comes off, just like that. Okay, so then when all the seals are replaced, just put it back together the way it was. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for now because my seal kit's supposed to arrive today, but it hasn't yet. So let's leave that like that. And then the next thing is, I'll loosen my vise just a little bit here. This nut's going to come off right here. The gland nut, where it's actually been leaking, is right in here. This is pretty much fell apart. You can see the pieces in there, I think. Doesn't look too good. Maybe you can see that. So those will get replaced. And that's where the major leak was. It was just pumping fluid out right there. Okay. So we'll just leave that for now. And then we'll finish the video when I put the new seals in. Okay, here's the piston off the 580B Outrigger cylinder, and I've got it apart now. There's 3 parts. A center piece that has a bevel on each side, and this is going to be pretty simple because you just go like this. I'm going to clean this up before I actually do it, but anyway, these chevrons, they lift off as a unit right here. There's the 4 units with a flat back on one side and a bevel on the other, and here's the new unit, oops, which will go right on as one piece, just like that. There it is, simple as that, on each side. And then I'm going to clean that up and lube it up a little, and that'll be ready to go back on. So the next thing I'll do is the actual nut, the closing piston on the outside. There's a few more parts to that which are on the inside. And okay, so we'll do that in just a minute. Here's the piston right here with the new seals on. You can see they actually stick up quite a bit. So the other ones were pretty worn, so I'm sure it had some internal leakage. Now here's the big gland nut here. I took the O-ring and from right here, the O-ring and the backup ring out. Here's the seal right here. This is a metal seal that seals all the dirt out, from the cylinder. Here's part of what was left down here, and I can see why it was leaking. If you look in here, you can see pieces just falling out. So it's pretty well. There's what was inside so that's why it was certainly leaking. So I'm going to clean this up, and we'll get some new seals in, and it'll be ready to go back in. Okay, here's the gland net all cleaned up, and there's different kinds. They give you a few extra parts. They give you some flat seals like this, and a couple of those, and then here's the inner rod seal, I think. So this is going to go in a groove down inside here, which obviously it's a little bit hard to put in. So I'm going to work on squeezing that in there with a little fluid on it, a little oil. I'll have to shut this off, and then I'll try to get that in there without destroying it. Okay, it does take a little work to get that inner one in. You need to sort of bend it in half, shove it in, and then bend one side in very forcefully, and then the outer seal is a press fit, which taps in. It's got an O-ring with a backup ring, and that's about it. So this is ready to go on with a little lube onto here. And then we'll put the piston back on, and it's ready to reinstall. Okay, so there's the piston now with the new seals installed. That big bolt in the end, I used a pretty liberal amount of thread locker on the threads, which they say to do. You don't want that coming off, that's for sure. The small indent is on the outside towards the bolt, and the large recess, which you can't see now, is on towards the shaft. This thing is definitely sealed. I can barely turn it on here, so I'm sure this is going to be really nice. I maybe have to do my other one. So that's the Outrigger cylinder, which basically is very easy to do. I don't know, the parts were about 36 bucks, and that's about it. I think I'll do my other one just to start sealing up all my cylinders. So I'll get that installed this week, and that's just fine. I used a 3/4 inch impact, by the way, to tighten that nut, so it's good and tight. And that's about it. This is off a 1976 Case 580B, so the old style. There's a couple different styles, but this is pretty standard, I think. So if anybody has one out there, it's easy to do.